This is episode 337 of Gold Squadron Podcast. One of your hosts, Will Wildcard Redeemer Hegwood. And today I'm joined by Ryan USA Staniszewski.
USA, USA, America.
Who's
James, the internet lives Ritter.
I was out of internet for almost a full day, or no, over a full day, and it was the worst time of my life.
How'd you even live? Hotspot.
I was hotspotting everywhere.
And our guest tonight, Greg, Gold 115th Cash.
Yeah. Hello.
Welcome in. Before we get to you, Greg, I gotta talk about someone even more special. Can you believe it? It's the GSPN Patreons. They're the largest group of our supporters, gets us to our events, keeps the stream going, and right now, when you sign up, you can get access to a bunch of art Gion posted from our past projects. You can use it for your own projects as well. A bunch of fantastic stuff on there. Patreon.com/Gold Squadron. All right, enough of that. Greg.
Well, I agree that your Patreons are great. I don't know why I had to take a stray to prop them up, but sure. Fine.
You are very important for the X-Wing scene because you run the channel Nuclear City X-Wing. But beyond that, I got some questions for you to start us off. Some little icebreakers for the audience.
Yeah. Let's do it.
First off, in X-Wing, do you have a favorite chassis?
Yeah. So, okay. Oh, chassis versus
Just one.
pilot.
Just one chassis.
Yeah. The Falcon.
Okay.
Rebel Falcon. I want the shields of the gun and not all the red actions.
Yeah. Okay. Does that equate to your favorite pilot as well, or do you have a pilot in it?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay.
So the Rebel Falcon is because it's the Falcon, and that's like the when I think Star Wars, it's like one of the first like things that pops into my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. In game, my favorite pilot for a long time has been Grievous. I'm a General Grievous guy.
Okay.
Terrible blues, but love me some rerolls.
Man.
He's so fun. I think they nailed his pilot for his theme, like running away, shooting some shots while no one else is looking, running away. Nailed it.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about the game is like the Greedo card that it's like better to shoot first. You know, like then you get a flip it. It punishes you if you don't shoot first. I love little flavor tie-ins to the universe like that.
Right. So Grievous in a straight up fight doesn't have the advantage. He wants those extra tricks to get the advantage.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. We got two other ones here. Lightsaber color. What lightsaber? I know you have a lot of lightsabers. Which one would be your color?
Oh man, favorite color. No, I think I would be like a blue guy. If I had to pick, it would be like a brilliant blue, not like the light blue. Like Shaak Ti is a little bit lighter blue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like Obi-Wan, nice royal blue.
Yeah, like without any kind of diminishing, just straight blue.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, love a nice purple. Always will stand for a red.
Only one man can have the purple.
Yeah, it just feels wrong to request a purple, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I'm of the opinion that yellow should be reserved for the temple guards, but that's my thing.
Okay.
Yeah, big opinions.
All right. Last question about you, Greg, and then we'll get into the draft league. How did you get into X-Wing?
Okay, well, fun story here. So I originally bought models for X-Wing years when I was living in Los Angeles, years before I did anything with X-Wing because of just there were highly detailed models, and I was like, these look awesome. I want I'm a Star Wars fan. I want these on my work desk and stuff, you know. So I had models, and then I went to Star Wars Celebration in Chicago, if you remember when it was in Chicago, like right
I
before Rise of Skywalker came out.
I worked that the demos at that Chicago.
And guess who played the demos in Chicago? I believe it was actually Nick Sperry who
Yeah, that's
demoed
right.
me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I did the demo with Nick, and I was just like, this seems up my alley. So when I got back to Buffalo at the time when I was living in Buffalo, I just found a place that had X-Wing, and they kind of showed me the ropes, and here we are.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember that. We were showing off the Grievous versus Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember what, like, I remember I did like a one-on-one against like the demoer, and they were kind of telling me
Okay.
like what to do, and I was like, oh, so there's like a lot of strategy and stuff. Like, this seems like something I'd be like super into.
Yeah, like a video game, but with sweet models.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. I didn't realize it was that recent.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what year was that?
What year did Rise of Skywalker come? It was like
19 or
they
something?
showed they showed the debut trailer for Rise of Skywalker. That's like the big thing I remember from that celebration. It also snowed in like late March in Chicago, and then every other day was like mid-70s.
Okay. So did you start playing before or after like 2.0 was like fully introduced? It sounds like after
Oh
then.
no, it was after for sure.
Okay.
I
Well,
think my timing kind of coincided with Jedi. I'm not 1,000% sure, but that was the first thing I flew, and it felt like they were kind of new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I've been playing longer than you have, and I consider myself like a very new player. That's crazy that I've been playing longer than you. I feel like you've been a pillar of the community since I've been playing.
I mean, it's only been like this is like year 4 or 5 for me, I think, maybe.
Right.
But also I feel like COVID adds 20 years to everything.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that time
We
period.
did
It's definitely been like 10 years since COVID
We
started.
did
So
play a lot
yeah,
of
prove me wrong.
X-Wing during those times. That's true. The online X-Wing especially, very prominent during those times, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, clearly.
But that transitions over to the Draft League perfectly. Let me pull up this spreadsheet. So, Greg,
Okay.
you've been doing this draft league. I can't even begin to explain this draft league's the intricacy and the production. The amount of people involved in this draft league has been astounding to me. Can you tell us how the draft league started, and I'll get this spreadsheet pulled up and we can start taking a look at it.
Yeah, so like NCX has been streaming for 3 years or so, and I didn't have anything that was like NCX's, I guess, and I kind of wanted like my own league or something. Just some we do, and I mean, season 1 was 24 players ish. I think it wasn't like huge or anything, and then we had a lot of fun with it, and then season 2 it like doubled, and then season 3 it doubled again. I was like, crap. And then season 4 it didn't quite double, but it crested over 100 players, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's just like kind of slowly built up to where it's become a second job for me. Like, it's probably the thing I spend most time on outside of like my actual job.
Yeah, but this one doesn't pay nearly as well, right?
Well,
no, I mean, this is
yes,
way more fun though, probably, right?
I would love it if I could just be commissioner of this and get paid like a sports commission.
Sure. So it is a team event on this overall page I'm looking at. 16 teams, all with 7 players each.
Yes.
And we just finished up the 10-week schedule, so there's please explain to me that there's divisions and conferences to these teams.
Yes. All right. So if you go to well, I guess you're on. Are you on? You're on the schedule tab. Go to the overall tab.
All right, back to overall. These are the divisions down here.
Yeah. So there's each division is named after a Ninja Turtle,
Mm-hmm.
and then Leonardo and Donatello make up one conference, and Raphael and Michelangelo make up the other conference. So this is the whole premise of the draft league is that it's based on like a football league or an NBA league or NHL league. So think of it like Western Conference, Eastern Conference, if you have to. You know, ours are Kelly Kapowski and Topanga Lawrence, clearly, but it's not the point. So you play each member in your division twice, and then there are 4 weeks where you play a team in your conference in the other division. So Raphael would play Michelangelo. You played 2 teams, both home and away. Leonardo plays Donatello, 2 teams home and away, and that's how we get our 10 games.
Gotcha.
But like,
so there's 7 players in each team, but we're only playing 6, and each matchup is consisting of 6 games. So each player will have like a day, will have a week, at least 1 week off, right?
Yeah,
that's the intent. Yeah,
that's the intent, and that's usually just because as the league kind of got bigger, like scheduling became a thing. Like people have lives. I don't want to be the one to be like, I'm sorry, but isn't online X-Wing a little more important than your child?
I mean, you're not wrong, but some people don't see it that way. I agree with you, but I think it was really great because it gives, and it's such a long 10-week span. It gives people a break and like allows them to take a vacation, or if they already had planned for that whole week or they're busy, they can take a week off without any issue.
Yeah, I didn't want people to ever feel bad because they were not available. Like, I don't want with a team thing. Like, I asked people to walk a very tight rope of caring about this, but not caring about it so much that it becomes like a issue. You know what I mean? Like, I want this to be something fun for people, something community building for people, but not to the point where it's going to ruin your day. So, you know, the way we do that is take pressure off, let people be like, I'm out of town this week. No problem. You're covered. You're good. It's not an issue.
So that makes me want to ask a big question I had. So with only 6 games being played, the chance for a 3-3 draw would be possible. And looking at the amount of draws over the course of the schedule, was that something you anticipated, or is this kind of just what ended up happening?
I am constantly surprised by the amount of parity that the league has shown. I usually it's like with the advent of a sports league, we allow trading, and sometimes captains will trade for future picks in future seasons. So there were teams that had multiple first-round picks this season, had a lot like higher, I'm going to say value, but I don't want people to take me the wrong way when I say value, because again, these are like people, but like they had a lot higher value in picks. So like I thought there would be teams that were more dominant that didn't end up being dominant, and it turns out that we have a lot of good players. It's kind of how it shook out. I'm not surprised at the amount of ties. I actually really liked the draws this season because I felt like it made wins feel very important.
Yeah, because you had to go 4-2 or 5-1, etc. Which meant that you really were successful against the team, not just
anything that adds a little bit of pressure to the captains. I am so for. I want captains to like feel very important. And like I want their decisions to have like consequences.
Right. Well, speaking of captains, so there's also this home and away, and that depicts who does the pairings for the week. Can you go into detail about that?
Yeah, so like again, trying to emulate a sports league as best I could. And this has been since season 1. We've had a home team and an away team, and in hockey, so this is kind of modeled after hockey. But in hockey, if you're the home team, you get what's called the last change. So the away team, after a whistle, has to put out their players first, and then you get to choose your players you put out on the ice. That's called last change. So in that respect, I tried to make it so the away team, basically the way it's supposed to go, and I don't know if sometimes if captains always do it correctly. There's kind of a meme we have where our captains don't read, but like it's supposed to be like if you're a captain and James is a captain, you send out a player. James says, I'm countering with this player, this scenario. You send out your next player. James says, I'm countering with this player, this scenario until all your matchups are sent. I'm sure it's happened where captains are like, here are my players that are playing. And then the other captain just does it like, not piecemeal, but like the whole thing at one time. But the intention is for captains to be like very deliberate in their matchmaking.
Yeah, I think it was very cool because so for each of the home games that you had, you were able to choose essentially with almost full knowledge, choose the matchups for the different players and also what scenario they were going to play, which is pretty big. I think I played. I don't think I played Chance at all the entire event, which is interesting.
Right, but if you're
Um,
CIS, like CIS pretty good at chance. Like,
well, I was playing Republic for the first half.
okay, well,
Um,
also pretty good at chance.
yeah, so so I think I ended up playing. I think whenever possible, I think my captain gave me uh, assault because I had like the arcs,
Mhm.
makes sense. But to even get to that point, the drafting process was also very interesting and something that caught me off guard as to how fun I had with it. Like going back and watch it because I missed the initial bit of it, but I was able to go back and catch up, and it was a lot of fun going through that drafting process with the different captains. Could you explain more on a little bit about that process and some of the nuances with like the different like trading picks?
Yeah, so again, modeled after a sports league. So we have our draft night. But first is the captain's draft. The captain's draft, since I run the draft as a snake, where like the first pick is going to end up not picking 1, 13, 25, there's 12 teams or whatever. So we have 16 teams. The first pick is going to end up picking 1 and then 32nd. So like you might think 1 and 32nd not as good as having picked 16 and 17. So the captain's draft is in reverse standings. The captain gets to pick where they want to draft. So whoever came in last place this season will get the first pick of where they want to pick in next year's draft. And then the player draft is where all the players are chosen. And we run that like an ESPN draft night. Like,
Yeah.
we have all the captains on and just kind of like we do here. And we have a whole draft board and everything. And the captains get, 30 seconds or whatever to make their picks. And we just go through the entire snake thing. There's trades that happen during it. It's a good time during the season. Captains can trade for picks. So like, say you're feeling like, I'm not having a great season here. Maybe I sell one of my good players that could help another team who is having a good season, and I get another high pick for next year, so that next year we do a little bit better. That's so it all sorts of tomfoolery can. See, we've had players traded for chicken sandwiches. That has happened. It's not my proudest moment, but it happened.
Yeah, I would say that word right there, the tomfoolery, is like the definition and like vibe of the NCX Draft League. Just constant, just there's no telling what's going to happen next. just tomfoolery all around.
Yeah, it is complete tomfoolery. I believe one of our teams kidnapped the other team's playbook at the last draft and then held it for ransom. I've lost control of everything, so to speak.
Well, going into the picks and like how important those first pick, pick number 1 versus pick number 16, going into how all the individual players have shaken out after that first after the Swiss, right? After the initial going into the cut, right?
Yeah.
Regular season.
Regular season. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess we should talk about it before we go on to individuals. You got give us the rundown of the final standings. Then the season just completed, had the wild card round even going into the playoffs. Break down who won in what divisions. You said something about Topanga Lawrence.
Yeah, so in the Topanga Lawrence conference that contains the Raphael and Michelangelo divisions, Raphael was headed up by the Wolf Pack. That's captained by Jane. They ended up with 16 points. A win is 3 points. A draw is 1 point. A loss, obviously, nothing. They ended up with 16, and then Firebirds in Order 66 ended up with 15 points apiece. That goes down to tiebreaker, which is the amount of games won, not series, games won in all of your series. That came down to a difference of 1. That was 32 for the Firebirds, 31 for Order 6. In 10 weeks, the total difference between them was 1 game. Wow. Rada came in last. Rada had a strategy this season. Rada's strategy was Scorched Earth, burn it all to the ground. Next season, we have 1,000 first-round picks.
Okay.
Do you know how many first rounds they have for next season?
Yeah, hold
on. I'm just curious. We're talking big numbers here.
Rada has 4 first-round picks next season.
4.
Rada. Wow. And then, oh my goodness.
Yeah, they have 4 first-round picks and a second-round pick. So their main team is going to be pretty much all. It's going to be 4 first-rounders, the captain, a second-rounder, and a third-rounder.
Okay.
Jeez.
All right. They're playing for season 5. Fair enough.
People like to complain about it, but I'm like, I'm not the one who made the trades. Like, the other captains did this.
Yeah, there's 15 other captains that you got.
All right, so that was the Raphael.
Yeah, Michelangelo, 5 straight boost, and Foxes both tied at 16 points. Again, that came down to games 1, where 5 straight boost had 1 more than the Foxes. Get first place. NJO came in 3rd, and the Rave Crab Champions came in 4th. So the way it works is if you win your division, you're automatically in the playoffs, and you get a bye. And then the next the next 4 spots are anyone in the conference. So the top people in the conference could go. And unfortunately, Rafe Crab and Rada were the ones who missed out on that. Then we go to the Kelly Kapowski Commerce. Personally, I'm a Topanga guy over Kelly. Kelly never did it for me. Topanga all day, every day, but whatever. In the Leonardo division, the Hot Shots, they kind of ran the league this season. Team Europe, as I like to call them. They had 21 points, far and away the most of anyone. Then the Ascendancy, which is Will's team, I believe. Correct?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
And the Star Killers. And then Team Havoc. Now, Team Havoc was back-to-back champions of the league. That's a team captained by Crispy. They had won the previous 3 seasons, the only champions we'd ever known. And then they miss the playoffs this season. Huge story.
And got last in their in their division too. That's crazy.
Yeah. Some would say disgraceful.
They're graceful. Agreed.
Yeah, horrible. And then the
We don't need to talk about the next one. We're just talking about disgraceful.
and then the Donatello division, headlined by the Confederacy of Independent Systems. And Mega Milk, again, that came down to games 1 tiebreaker, 2 games difference there. Mega Milk Union. And then KDB in the last week pulls off the win, which not only knocked Havoc out, but also, unfortunately, the Mon Cala Seafood Consortium gets knocked out as well by KDB's victory. And then KDB, out of nowhere, kind of a rough season. KDB Season 3 history, first season, they didn't win a game. And then, out of nowhere, KDB comes in, upsets the Mega Milk Union in the wild card round, and they're on to the divisional second round of the playoffs.
Wow.
I mean, just the things that happen.
Yeah. They had a good run. They beat. I was on
run? It's not over, Jay.
Oh yeah, no, I know. They're killing it. We needed to beat them to get into the wild card, and yeah, they got us. They earned it.
Yeah, but the thing that like kind of strikes me is like the parity of the league. If you look at the points for 10 weeks, 60, so it's like 60 games per team, right? The total deviation of points from top to bottom is 200. So, like, the top team in the league scored 200 more points in 60 games, which is what breaks down to what, like 3.2 points a game more than the bottom team in the league. That's like the margin of victory in this league right now is basically 3.2 points a game, perhaps. So you're thinking like what, 20 to 16, 17 is your thing? And we had so many games that ended like 23-21 or like 22-20. That part is the one that actually scared me a little bit. I'm like, how is this happening? We also don't allow ties, so maybe that played a little part into it.
That's true. Yeah, you had to go like sudden death was the rule.
Yeah. I hate games that can end in a tie. That's silly.
Okay. I mean, to your point as well, the games won, the margin's only between what, 22 and 35.
So it looks like 21 for Rada and 38 for Hot Shots.
Oh yeah, Hot Shots. Yeah.
Yeah. But most people, if you look at it, most people are right in around 32, 31.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beyond those.
Like Michelangelo is 34, 30, 35, 34, 32, and then Rave Crab is the primary donator there with 22. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's pretty even. We didn't have a team go winless, which I'm very happy about. And yeah, we only had a couple people who went winless, and I was hoping we'd have 0, but out of 112, we only had 3 go winless, and only 1 undefeated that actually played the whole season. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of parity there, and of course in a dice game, dice are gonna even out everything eventually. But
right.
Yeah, over 10 games, or like I feel like most people have played like 8 to 10 games with the off weeks. But yeah, that's a pretty good sample size for determining like how consistent a player is.
I like it. I like the length of it. I know some people think it's a little bit long. I disagree because preparing for a new season sucks and it takes forever, and I don't want to do it as much. And B, I also want you to like kind of like be part of your team for a long time, Like I don't want you to be part of a team for 4 weeks and then okay. I feel like if you're part of a team for like 3 months, then you're more attached to that like group.
Yeah, I think it also like you're saying, like reinforces like team camaraderie, but also it like really plays. It makes like that drafting important and makes captains, like you said, makes captains feel important.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, so right now, if I'm not mistaken, these highlighted teams are all that remains in the following weeks.
Yeah, those are the teams that are left. So we just had our wild card round, which was basically on the side there, like team number 3 versus team number 6, team number 4 versus team number 5. And the green teams are the ones that remain. We have this week off for Thanksgiving. And then real Thanksgiving Canada, actual Thanksgiving. And then next week will be the start of the divisional round, which will be like 1 versus the lowest seed, 4 or 5 there, and then 2v3. Then those 2 will meet, and then the remaining 2 will go into the championship.
We're on to single elimination rounds now.
Yep, you lose, you're out. And it's 7 on 7 now. We're not allowing ties. This is everyone on the team. Yep.
How are we doing objectives in that and pairings?
So you have to same way we did objectives with 6. You have to use them all once, and then 3 get doubled up, and that's the home team captain's prerogative on which 3 get doubled up.
How are you determining who's home if it's single elimination, or are you playing twice?
So like
seed. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so like 5 straight boost will be home against Firebirds, and Wolfpack will be home against Foxes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. My team's upset about it because if I'm not mistaken, we have way better stats than who we're fighting. But
well, that's the importance of winning your division. You have more points than CFIS. So Ascendancy, you're talking about Ascendancy second in Leonardo with 16. CFIS is number 1 in Donatello with 14. But since they're number 1, they get that second seed in their division. Because I mean, maybe their division was a little bit harder to get out of than your division. I don't know.
We had hot shots in ours.
Yeah, hot shots. Yeah.
Yeah. You also had Havoc.
Wow. Okay. Ooh, wow. Shots fired there. Havoc catching any stray possible. All right. So exciting stuff. Going down to the single elimination. But I did want to talk about the individual stuff. Well, Ryan, you've been notably quiet. What have you missed out on before we go on the from the team side to individual information?
Still catching up with a lot of the jargon. Like the team names, the conferences, and like looking at the spreadsheet, trying to parse it all, but it sounds fun in general. I think just as outside looking in, the only thing that's kind of like kept me, or actually probably a couple things that have like kept me from signing up myself in previous seasons has been like, it's not an individual commitment, it's team, in that, other people are counting on me to be able to play games. And if it's just myself and I have to like skip a week because I'm taking care of like work, kid, etc., like doesn't feel as bad because I know it's just me, but when it's a team type of thing. Right. And then extended standard thing.
Oh, like, that's true. We didn't talk
about that. Yeah.
I assume most people are playing standard stuff anyway, but what is it? It's extended. It's extended, including the ban list. So stuff that's banned is stayed banned, right?
So banned upgrades, no.
Banned upgrades, pilots, not banned pilots.
Okay. So how has that gone from what you've seen? Is there anything that's made you cause for like maybe we need to ban this pilot?
No, most of the banned pilots are A, just frankly not played, and B, like there's no reason for Han Solo, like Resistance Han Solo, to be banned now that stuff starts. And I get why they did it when you were scoring points in the first turn, but now that it's second turn, I don't think there's really like a great reason for Han Solo Resistance to be banned. My main thing is I hate Sloan. I hate Sloan with a passion. So there was no way, like I think in like season 1 or 2, Sloan was like legal for us, and like never again.
Yeah, show us on the X-wing where Sloan hurt you, Greg.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
The two stress.
Everywhere.
Yeah, panic pilot.
Probably there are a lot easier things to break when it's upgrades that are banned, especially the generic ones, right? Your sense, your any of the generic droids.
There's not a lot of pilots that are banned that I think break the game. Like you could say like Hera VCX, you get to change your dial. But to be honest, I don't think anyone flew Hera VCX because it's not worth the points, really.
So I don't even know what points she is.
Probably too much.
Is she more than Han? Because
I think she's 7. Could be wrong.
That's more than Han.
Well, Han is 7.
No, I know, but like that is more than that is more than Han's value.
Hera's 7 points with 20 loadout. That's actually reasonable to consider.
Yeah, but then you can get Chopper at 6, and you're also flying double tap Han. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to bring Hera. I think also what it's allowed, extends allowed, is like a lot of ships. I mean, like also selfishly, like I totally get that this is selfish, but like I stream a lot of these games. And I want to see ships that I don't get to see a lot. Like, I get to see the Star Vipers every now and then.
Star Vipers, yeah.
Lancers, like K-Wing.
We said 4 scum ships in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I flew a Lambda and a Whisper in one game.
You did, yeah.
I mean, like, you don't get to see some of these ships so much, and it's not that they're broken ships. It's just that if they're not in standard, you know, I have to respect those like standard rules and everything. But if I don't have to run my league like that.
Yeah, I was very hesitant because this is my first year, or my first season, I guess, and I was very nervous about it. I was like, I'm going to see all kinds of wacky stuff going in here. It's gonna be terrible. And I think I only flew against like 1 or 2 extended pilots, and I was like, oh, that's really fun. Like, cool. I get to play against something that I haven't played against in a while.
Factions that don't have extended pieces to them.
Yeah, I mean, I could have played like Sacy or something. But
I was gonna say, that's one of the first things I immediately looked at. Is like, all right, what point cost and load on a Sacy TNET? Because technically, that is a pilot that brings dial changing.
Yeah.
It's like
but I'll tell you, I haven't seen a Sacy. Like, no. I don't think dial changing is as powerful as it maybe used to be.
I don't think
because it was comboed with dial peaking.
Dial peaking,
right?
yeah.
You look at their dial, then you change your dial. It's all
right. But you can't do that anyway. So like, at least in my like thing, like Snoke is still banned. I'm not sure what else since, obviously. I don't know if there's any other dial peaking.
James did fly dial peaking tri-fighters.
I did.
Black R Fox.
I never peaked.
Spend their life for it.
I never peaked. No. I was like, they're like the worst dial peakers. So maybe besides like Snoke.
Yeah.
So we haven't had an issue with it, and if an issue does arise, you know, we'll address it. But, you know, we survived the season of Sloan. We can survive anything.
True.
Yeah. Black R Fox for 3 points. High 5. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, they were fun.
They had what? Crackshot and FC?
Yeah, Crackshot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say you can do an IndyCal Crackshot.
Yeah, I don't think I did because I was running them with
Elusive, but eh.
Yeah, I think I did like Indy. No, I did Crack and FCS, I think.
You can give them like discount SOC Flak R Fox by giving him Debris Gambit.
Yeah, I like them over the Siege Coruscant because they get the boosters.
Well, and they're a point cheaper. Like a whole squad point cheaper is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like 8 points for 2 of them versus 6 points for 2 of them.
Yeah,
it's weird because I feel like
this
is a tangent, but like the SOC flag RFOX, they should have been like SOC flag RFOC A and SOC flag RFOC B with the same exact thing, but allowed them to individually change the cost of them, so they could be like how Mauler and Backstabber are right now. They can end up an odd number when you can take 2 of them, type of thing, right? One of them can be 4, the other can be 3. So you only get one of them ever 3 points, but if you want to take both of them, it's going to be a combo of 7.
Yeah.
It's been my experience that tri-fighters just end up with Suntir-Fel syndrome. They just die, like dead, gone.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah, I actually did a
Wish they were good.
I did a store champ this weekend, and someone was flying the 2 SOC RFOX, and they had games where they bullied the entire board and got like they killed the entire list. There's just those 2 ships, and they had games where they got one of them got one shot by BB-8. So I was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, let's take a look at the individual stats though.
Yeah, Greg,
Who's the big winner?
PLMS and break down this thing for us.
All right.
What are we looking at?
First name are people's first names.
Okay, all right.
You have wins, losses, points. This seems very easy to figure out so far.
I'm good so far.
PLMS plus minus. So that's obviously the amount of points you have scored versus your opponents. Again, seems pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Games is the number of games you played. Win percentage.
Will, how come you only have 4 points? What is this?
What?
You immediately went down and find Will.
I looked at the single digits and I looked over. I'm like, hey, why does Will only have 4 points? What is this?
Hey, I got 5 wins. Okay, calm down.
It says 4.
Oh, wait. Plus minus.
He's 5 and 4.
Yeah, but his PLMS is 4.
Well, I lost. The games I lost real bad.
Boom. Yeah, explosion.
Hey, good, Will.
Well, I rallied at the end. All right, Greg. So
all that means is Will played even games.
Wait, now I got
to win percentage is
rag on
obvious.
James here.
Oh, let's finish up this, then we'll get to looking at people's stats.
James better than Will, confirmed.
So win percentage, obviously the percentage of games you won. So your wins divided by games played is your win percentage. PPG, that's points per game, the amount of points you scored per game on average. Efficiency is your current rank minus, where you were drafted, what number pick you were, minus your current rank. So Will was drafted 7th overall, 36, so his efficiency is minus 29. So it's just kind of a way of like judging captains.
Yeah, so so because he did worse than his pick number, he has a negative number. And vice versa for someone who like Austin at number 29 here was picked at 87, but actually came in 29th, so had a positive 58. Is it right?
Yeah, that's pretty
58.
good.
Yeah. Good pick. Who did that?
that was Andrew Oler. Was that pick?
Nice.
Yeah, good pick, Andrew. Great player. So awesome. That's an interesting stat to like how did I come and pick, and then how did I do, right?
Yeah. And then there's war, which is wins above replacement. We don't have enough stats to do a true war number. So basically what this does is it takes other stats here, weights them, and creates a number based off those. I use ChatGPT to help me with this. This is like my brainchild.
Okay.
So it's basically just taking other numbers and then weighing them with how important I think they are and creating one number. And obviously you want the higher the better. And H2H is head-to-head And basically, this is just something I want to do for like betting. But I need a number. I wanted a number that compares one player to another with one number. So what head-to-head does is take all the stats, normalizes them against the average, and then compounds it into one number. So like the higher your head-to-head, the better. So you can say like if Will was going to play James, Will's head-to-head is 0.545, and then James's head-to-head is 0.509. So Will would be very slightly favored to win that matchup over James. Is basically what that number is for.
Okay, so
It's
for
to help
the betting man
matchups. It's for eventually I want to do like odds in betting. Like I want like okay, we have this and that, but I think I'm going to do it based on number of bets. It's completely separate. But like this is to help captains match up, even though I don't think they use it at all.
Okay. That's interesting. Is that going to be something that carries over like a previous season?
No.
Head to head.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
None of it. Yeah.
But that could be something for previous, like during the start of a season, for a captain to look back on.
Yeah. So a lot of these numbers, a secondary purpose of them is to find value in players who maybe don't have the best record, because when you're being matched up, you know, like you could be the sacrificial lamb on your team. You could end up being a guy who ends up going against their top player all the time. Or maybe you're flying Scum and Scum sucks right now and you can't like buy a win, but you score a lot of points. You play hard, like you're not getting blown out. So like that's going to show up in these, I mean, I'm going to call them advanced statistics, but you know, like no offense to actual advanced statistics. In these advanced statistics, that's going to show up more in like in this situation than just your record. So you know,
it's a number a number that it goes a little bit deeper than just he won or he lost or he scored points or he didn't.
Yeah, because I don't want players that are, you know, like 2-7 or 2-6 or whatever to like feel terrible all the time, but also the 2-6 players are not bad players. They could have just had bad matchups. Mm-hmm. So like we see 0.452 over here, rank 93, Darren McNally, right? 3-4, not a great season. Probably not getting picked very high. And you start looking at it and you're like, well, his plus like minus.
Yeah, positive plus minus. Okay.
Yeah, right. He's there, and then you're like, well, his WAR is actually 1, so he's actually a positive player for the team, even though he has a losing record. His stats are a positive for that team. You know, he's worth more than like a dead average player. Mm-hmm. So like, he probably deserves to be like a 3rd, 4th round pick instead of in the bottom, you know, like 3rd of the league where he's currently ranked. So he obviously like had tougher matchups, you know, got unlucky or whatever. I don't obviously know every game everyone played, but like there's value there that captains can look at, that these numbers help you see that you wouldn't get just from a record.
Yeah, very very cool. Yeah, I do like all the extra stats, and I like them even more now that I know what they mean. I mean, Ryan, you're a big stats man. Maybe even more so than I am. Is there?
I feel like this goes one of two ways with like people who actually like stats. But like these numbers are bogus; they mean nothing. Or like, hey, this is cool.
Well, yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
I'm in the middle, just because I like, so when you talk about some of the stuff you put together and make your own score for, like, yeah, that's kind of like I put numbers together and make a thing that tries to give a value to something. Like, cool, but I don't know what it means in the context of the grand scheme.
Yeah, like what's the difference in like slugging percentage versus like just average on base? Like, what's the big difference? But
well, that's a different story, but sure.
Well, yeah, but just like something like that.
But like overall, like keeping track of all this is actually pretty impressive. Like very cool.
Yeah, if someone can,
there's something there's something to like there's something to be figured out with this. What it is, I don't know. I don't recall any sort of X-wing like organized setup like this that you have going with the NCX League. The closest thing we've had are just like one-off team events annually, year to year, like Crate Cup or Rust Cup or Outrider Cup for people who remember that old one. And many iterations of those type of things that just happen, but they're not like kept up like on a league level type thing like this, where it's everyone's records, everyone's games, their points they've scored during game, the opponent's points allowed during the game. Like, we're getting close to like, let's do a fantasy league for this type of thing. Like you got the stats for it.
Yeah, so, it's been a lot of fun. And it's just based out of my love of sports, really. Yeah,
I was gonna say. So this seems like something like you have to have fun doing this to do this, in my mind, right? Like this is generally to some people could seem monotonous or tedious, but if you're someone who loves sports stats and can attribute it to something you also love outside of sports, like that's where the match works for you.
Yeah, it's
very cool.
It's been a lot of fun, and so far, knock on wood, pretty drama-free. So, what more can you ask for, really?
It's always very important in the X-Wing world. No drama.
Well, we are the best smelling of the, geeks. And I've said that for years. X-Wing players shower. They're generally wearing deodorant. So, my complaints are already pretty low.
Yeah,
I think I got that faction breakdown.
Yeah, I think you'll actually love this one, though, Ryan. This is not done by me. This is done by Cat Pat, who is Crispy's sister. She's in the league, and she kept track of the resistance. She kept track of all the factions and their win rate per scenario.
Oh God, there's so many tabs. Is there just a faction tab? Am I missing it?
I have it. I have it pulled up.
Oh yeah, it's a picture. I can send.
Yeah, I just added it in our doc, Ryan.
Oh, okay. So this is not in the.
This is a separate thing. This was done by Capat. This is not done by me.
Okay.
All right. So what does it look like for the factions that got broken down here?
Well, it looks like Scum sucks.
Scum is the worst performing. Yeah. They're close to 50% win rate on chance.
Close.
That's
they're
impressive.
Almost there. They're nearly at 50%.
I mean, they're higher than Rebels, Republic, and First Order on chance. So that's impressive.
Is Rebels being so bad on chance surprising to anyone else? That actually kind of shocks me a little bit.
I think a lot of this really depends on what's the average composition of list people are taking in all these factions, right? Like we could look at Resistance and like that looks good. These numbers look similar to what Resistance looks like now with their 5 ship variations. But like, why is Rebel so low in chance and really high in Scramble? I mean, Scramble high one makes me think, all right, people are still taking Han and Fen. Like there's your I6s or plethora of I5s, Hera as well.
I think Han for sure. I haven't seen a ton of Fen.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that kind of stand out. Like you said, the Rebels' chance is really, really low and odd to me. Everything else is kind of within the realm.
Well, here's something I want to toss out there is that not every faction played every scenario as much.
Because, the sample size may be very
the sample size can be off on that too. That's true. Right?
Yeah, because if you kept feeding Rebels Scramble all the time, and then the one time that someone pairs their list with your Rebels in chance because they think they can beat you in a bad scenario. So that's like the few outliers. Because the thought process, I'm glad I'm not a captain of this, because the thought process of like I need this faction in this scenario, this other faction against this other faction in this scenario, is mind-boggling. The amount of options possible for how you can guide those pairings is very impressive. So I had to imagine there's some combination of that going on.
Yeah, yes, is actually the surprising one. There's some solid numbers. Beyond Scramble, which does not surprise me, they either have too low of ship count to pressure Scramble, or their initiatives are too low when they do have ship count numbers.
Yeah, it turns out it doesn't matter if you press the button with an I1.
I can press the button with one of your I1s, and then you dare the I5 or I6 to press the button in front of 4 of your guns.
Yeah.
Yep.
I dare you. All right. I'm going to go press these other 2 buttons over here.
Yeah, and then he dares you, and then one-shots all your ships anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but Scum sucks. It just sucks to be Scum right now.
Well, so I will note this: the league you have is extended, and I think that people may fall into the trap of playing stuff in Scum and extended that they want to play because it's like no mind, like do whatever you want. But
name names, Ryan. Name names.
I don't know. I actually don't know anyone. I'm just saying, like, Scum is a trap faction, in my opinion, where, like, if you're playing extended and you're trying to win, but you also have the, like, nostalgia of, like, I want to play the ship I used to play in Scum years ago, right?
Man.
And I couldn't because it's not standard. It's been extended for all this time. You go back and play it extended, haven't played it in forever, or you just no one's parsed how good or not good it is. You're just going into the potential trap of like, oh, this may be actually terrible. Or maybe this combination of stuff, or like there's so many landmines in Scum in my mind right now that when you add extended to it, it just adds more landmine potential of your list builds.
The most extended ships I saw played in Scum were Guri and Lancers. It was mostly just Ketsu.
Lancers are pretty cool. I hope that they get YT 2400 re-release treatment, but maybe a little better. So where there's like they have SL versions that are Rebel too, like they did because Ketsu in the Rebels TV show teamed up with the Spectrum crew every once in a while. That'd be neat.
I like Lancers. One of the first GSP tournaments I ever did actually flew Boba Ketsu 2-ship.
Wow.
Yep.
And that was very fun.
My first regional, I did Ketsu Kath during Commonwealth Defender era, and I was just dead set on making Defenders Agility 0 with Kath's rear arc and Ketsu's double tractor. It worked too often. Besseries never lived.
Awesome. Well, Greg, before we finish up here, is there any outliers, any exciting things that had happened in the league?
Well, we did have. I mean, as much as I hate it, we did have Sevwall go 10-0.
That's pretty impressive.
Another regular season. He went last regular season undefeated as well.
Wow.
Yeah. He also wrecks in our Wednesday GSP streams as well. He just like whenever he comes by, he just collects all the wins and then leaves. So he's one of our GSP dogfight title holders as well.
Yeah, it turns out he's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty solid. Does he play like where is he at? Where is he located? Just make sure I don't go to any events near that.
Yeah, I believe it's Europe.
He's in Europe? Okay. Good. Stay away from all the events that I go to.
I need to look through and find out which.
They're saying New Jersey
is the highest.
I think he's local to like Chris Jenner.
Oh, he's here. I mainly play in New Jersey. New Jersey is Europe, confirmed.
No. I don't know who I'm thinking of.
He'll be at PAX. Well, I expect you to be number 1 coming out of PAX. So
it looks like my highest performing local in this is Mark Roberg.
Biddy Bumbo.
Biddy Bumbo.
How would he?
Looks like 5 straight boosts is doing pretty well actually.
Yeah. 5 straight boost has like almost a quarter of the top 12, so pretty impressive.
They were second overall in the league.
Yeah. Weird to not see any, like only one hotshot up here. Wow.
Yeah, well, I think also if you look, pick numbers 1 through 16 are round 1. So you have 1, 2, 3 of them in the top 20. So first round picks have not exactly translated to being the top players in the league.
Yeah, I do like trying to find the efficiency and just find those big negative numbers. Like, oh wow, you did not perform well. Based on your pick.
That'd be me and Doug.
That'd be me as well. I think I got picked like round 2, and then ended up going negative 40, I think.
Yikes! So, I'm not that bad, but yeah, Andrew Oler, Doug Howe, and me all ended up going like negative 30.
Well, to be fair to Andrew, if you're a captain, you get a 0, so it's literally impossible for you to have a positive.
That's true.
Efficiency.
Yeah, number 1, still negative 1.
Yeah, I feel honored. And so sorry, I screw captains over that way.
I mean, Catherine, top captain though. Wait, no, anyone surprised?
Stamp that one for Dion, maybe.
I got it. Don't worry.
Screw cap, yeah. Catherine is the top captain.
Yeah, very impressive, Catherine. No one surprised, I think.
Yeah, literally no one shocked.
You may have gone over this earlier while I was trying to peruse the statistics and everything you've compiled here, but when players are matched up, is it like they have 3-4 days, a whole week? Like, what's the play time and scheduling like?
So usually the captains will do the matchups the day before that week of play starts. So week runs Monday to Sunday. Usually I get all the matchups on Sunday before that Monday the week starts. So they'll make matchups typically on like Sunday, and then by like Monday or Tuesday, most people have their play dates set.
Okay. And what do you say? What's the better percentage to kind of estimate in your head? The percentage of successful games played or percentage of not like? How is the scheduling conflict issue come up like 5 or less % of the time, or even less than that?
We had 2 games not played
this whole season so far.
The whole season, yeah.
So is that average or better than prior seasons?
I think this is the first season we've ever had games not played.
Oh, okay. Is this because this is the biggest season you've had so far?
I would assume so. Also, we have a lot more Europeans this season.
I was looking at like the time zone thing right now. I was like, okay.
Well, I'm
recognizing
the hot shots also ended up with like an all Europe squad except for like one player.
Okay.
So like if you're faced against the hot shots, like your whole squad has hard matchups. So like that's just kind of how it. It's a draft, right? So that's how it was drafted out.
The draft part is what interests me because, like, as someone who's played many years of like fantasy football, that's like one of the more fun parts of the year. Has the draft always been closed doored amongst the actual team captains? Have you ever like thought about streaming the draft so that people could?
Oh, the draft is streamed. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun.
Did you stream the time someone was traded for a chicken sandwich?
Yes, that is. That happened live.
That's awesome.
It was very exciting.
I think there was a trade for an apology in that same draft. That was season 3.
Yeah, it's very high energy. It's very confusing if you don't know. I think next season I'm going to be a lot more into it and excited. But even coming into it blind, it was a lot of fun.
there was like 100 people got drafted, so
Yeah.
it took a while as well.
Yeah. So I'll say a small, like, one of the reasons I have considered is just the pure narcissism of like, oh, I want to know where I'd be picked. Like, where am I getting picked if I enter this?
Well,
Yeah.
Again,
Again,
you can
that's
find out.
part of the tightrope I ask people to walk, though. Like, caring, but not caring too much. Because I don't want anyone to be like, I was picked 32nd. No. I'm a mid-20s player.
You should not care.
Yeah. It doesn't say anything about you as a person, I promise. A lot of it is people drafting people they know of. That's how Hotshots ended up with an all-Europe team.
The best thing you can do is internalize any minor feelings you have about like where you got picked, and then use that to fuel you to show people why they were dumb for picking you later. But do not ever vocalize it yourself or make it bad for your own team that picked you.
I mean, Austin, right? Austin, I forget his last name. Let me find it. Austin O'Day, he was picked 87th. He's 29th, so his efficiency was 58. He won our best draft pick, I think. Pretty sure. He won our best draft pick of the year award, end of year.
Cool.
I mean, like, how good does that have to feel to be the 87th pick and you end up 29th overall? Like, you're like,
yeah,
oh, maybe I should have had a little respect.
Yeah, put some respect on that name before you draft me so late.
I mean, with a little more respect, eh?
Yeah. So if you're a fantasy football guy, Ryan, you might like that. We have a keeper aspect of it where a captain can keep one player from their team at the cost of one higher draft pick than where that pick was selected. So if you selected a player 3rd round, you can spend your 2nd round pick, keep that player.
That's cool. I know keeper leagues I've done to fantasy before. The ones I like the most are we call the blue collar keepers, where if they were picked in the draft like 7th round or later, you can keep them for 1 year. So it's like you're not meant to keep like the best players around. You're meant to like be rewarded for picking someone that ended up overperforming later in the year.
Yeah. So we don't have that many draft picks to play with.
Sure.
But if you want to keep like a 1st round pick, it does cost you your 1st and a 4th. So it's pretty expensive to keep a 1st round pick. It's actually never been done because it's kind of like too high of a price to pay.
Seems like a lot of people are definitely trading. Like I'm looking at the trades page and like people are like moving picks around, and, like collecting things. Like you said, there was it this season or prior season where like a team had collected so many 1st round picks.
Well, so next season Rada's going to have 4 because they just sold this entire season. And another thing for anyone worrying about like time, we do have like a sub system where a team can get a substitute player. Because I know this happens so much this season, it's crazy. A lot of people are having kids right now, and they're like, I can't do this week. My wife is having a baby. And I'm like, I'm not going to be the one to be like, well, you're hurting your team.
Wow.
You know,
really, it's like being really selfish here.
Yeah. Tell her to hold it for 1 week. Play your game. You know, no.
In 10 years, what are you going to remember? This game or your kid? Come on.
Yeah. Probably a really, since I noticed this with my wife too, because Zali was born 2 years ago in December. And, basically I think the next like 3 to 5 years after 2022-ish or 2021, basically COVID over, now safe for baby is the mindset.
That's true.
That's funny.
Like, I'm pretty sure there might have been a few couples, whether it was their 1st kid or 2nd, whatever number kid, like before COVID happened, they're like, oh no. And then like just paused any baby making for like 2 years potentially. So.
See, I would have bet on the opposite.
Really?
Well,
like you're stuck at home with your wife, like you literally are not allowed to go out and do anything.
Man, I'll tell you, there were some crazy restrictions in hospitals dealing with having a kid. Like some dads couldn't even be in the room. So
I didn't say it was ideal. I just said
no, it's not ideal.
You get bored.
It's not the level of boredom I'm looking for to fix.
And that's why X-Wing popped off.
That's very true. When was the first year? Because this of the draft league, because you're not doing them yearly.
No, but I do constantly refer to them as years, and then I have to correct myself that it's only been like 2 years of this.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're like
someone else will
biannually. Are
remember.
you trying to do 2 a year? Is that typical?
Well, our first one was only like 6 weeks long, and then the second one was I also think 6 weeks, and then season 3 was 8 weeks, maybe. Oh, this was the first 10-week one, I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong. My memory is so bad. But yeah, it's basically season 5 is going to happen in February because this season is not going to wrap up until December.
Right.
And then I need like a month to prepare, basically. And, there's a bunch of holidays and stuff, at least in America and stuff. There's a bunch of holidays. So, like, we get through January, February, we'll come back, we'll hit it hard. And that's when season 5, we're already at, I think, 94 signups. So, we might be expanded again. We don't know.
Expansion team. Woot woot.
I have the sign up link will be in the YouTube video. If not, where's the best place?
Sorry, Dion, I have a potty mouth. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I think he'll get my edited version, so it'll be fine.
I mean, I was an angel, Dion.
Yeah,
I was an angel.
Where's the best place to find out more information about season 5 and the rest of the draft league?
So you can join the Nickel City X-Wing Discord. Links on the Twitch or the YouTube, anywhere YouTube videos are sold. We're not hard to find. Ask a friend. Someone's heard of me, whether they like me or not is kind of up in the air, but they've heard of me. So you can find it. We're pretty welcoming. Anyone's welcome to come in and play. I do not care if you're new to the game. In fact, I think this league would be great for you if you're new to the game because it's going to give you a large community and then B, like when you're on a team, a smaller community to work in games. Every team has their own private Discord room, private chat that they schedule practice games in. Some teams more than others, but like a lot of practice games, a lot of list discussion goes on in the rooms. So
yeah,
if you're newer to the game,
like an instant Squadron to hang out with, right? Like to bounce lists off of.
And that's kind of like a really cool one. It's kind of a part I'm a little jealous of because like I can see all the rooms, right, but I'm not part of them.
Oh,
I don't have my own little squad.
You could,
yeah.
Oh, you're like Squidward. Like looking out the window, watching Patrick and SpongeBob play.
I'm 39. Unless you can make that a Doug Funny reference, I don't know.
Not even into SpongeBob. Oh my god, I'm only 33. It's like a 6-year difference. It's not that much.
No, that's forever in kids' years. That's 2 whole Disney shows.
It's true.
I mean, did you hear they're considering bringing Doug back in Disney Plus? Like a new
really?
Doug? Yeah.
Like animated, or are they going to make it gritty? Live action Doug.
I don't think it's live action, some type of animation, but it's in talks of either just like doing like the original type or like Doug and Patty are now like the parents of the main character.
Oh, see, they did that with Boy Meets World, with Girl Meets World, right? So like Corey Topanga's kid,
right?
And I was a huge Boy Meets World person. Greg loves me some Boy Meets World, clearly with the Topanga Lawrence conference, but like it just doesn't hit the same when you're upper 30s watching a kid's show and you're like, I remember these characters.
Yeah, it's like we don't like, especially animated, like you don't need to do forward in the future stuff. Just like do it for the new generation, just the modern age.
I'm super in. Take that whatever like Archie show that they redid, made real dark. Do that to like Doug. Make it like a high school
but like
drama.
Didn't they try that with like Fresh Prince, like a grittier like reboot?
They did, yeah.
They had a gritty
I didn't
reboot
watch
of
it.
Fresh Prince? Okay.
I mean,
I didn't catch that one.
There's no chance that was good, right? As much as I'd love it
No,
to be, but
chance.
there's no chance.
So a couple
think of something new, Hollywood.
A couple clarifying questions. So
yes,
because this is me like
partially this is me trying to sell you on the league. I'm going to get you.
Yeah. No.
This has been our big plan. I just wanted to get Ryan into it.
But then also like hearing like Mark Rawberg and like other people talk about the league. So when you're drafted and you're put on the team, are you assigned a faction, or how does that like,
yeah. So when you're drafted into a faction, and you're not allowed to deviate from that faction, but you're allowed to change lists every week. So your lists are not locked, but your faction is.
Got it. Okay.
So when other captains are making matchups, they know that they're pairing like rebels into scum, but they don't know what you're going to fly.
It does make it very interesting.
Yeah, during the draft, you actually have to say what faction you're being drafted for. So like round one, pick number one. You have to say your player and what faction they're be playing.
That's part of the challenge for the captains is
some deeper
closer to the draft. I'll release what we call player cards, and everyone can make cards for themselves, and they put their preferred factions, some fun facts, and a picture and everything if they want.
Like rookie card stuff. Neat.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's fun. But then I create a list from that for the captains. Be like, these are the top 3 factions of these players, and I can't guarantee that if you're a player, you get drafted into your preferred factions. You might get drafted into something you don't play. Halfway through the season, I give the captains an option. After week 5, all the captains all have an option. Everybody can change factions, or nobody can change factions. That's their choice.
Oh, so as in everyone would have to swap to something different.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
And then if there's a trade that comes in, that's another way to kind of shake up your factions. If you trade for someone, if it's a new player on your team, you get to choose their faction. And then say you trade for a player and you want them rebels, but you already have a rebel player. Whatever player you traded out, that rebel player has to then become that faction. So say you traded your scum for a rebel and you want that player to play rebel, they can play rebel, and then your rebel has to play scum.
Okay, got it. So they would occupy. It's not a free swap around. You have to actually swap what you traded in that.
Yeah, all trades have to be equal on the player level, just because I'm not dealing with that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, I agree. Yeah, do our coaches go together and allowed to veto some trades if necessary, if they feel it's not even, or do you let them govern themselves a little bit until like you're the final judge in that
for trades?
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever denied a trade. I might be wrong. There's only been one trade where I've ever felt it was maybe not as equitable, and that was actually season 2, I think. It was Matt Carey for a 2nd round pick. It might have been season 3, I'm not sure. And I felt like Matt Carey was like probably deserved a little higher pick, but he didn't have a great record at that point in time. So I was like, I guess it makes sense. But yeah, there's never been a trade where I've had to outright be like, no. But there have been trades like I don't let captains trade captains picks. Like where they're going to select like the first thing, that's set in stone. They can't trade that. Or if we had some players like drop from the league, so we had reserve players fill in. You're not allowed to keep those players because they weren't technically picked. So I don't know what the cost would be to keep them. So like you can't keep that. So I'll step in if I have to, but I will say the captains have been super good about kind of understanding what the vibe is.
Yeah.
And no one's tried to push it to a level where I'm like, well, come on.
That's good. Yeah, like I said, it's good that the captains are already in a spot where like they're kind of governing themselves well enough to where you don't need to interject that much, but you will when you need to.
I mean, I do get to pick the captain, so I have like kind of stocked it with people who like I think kind of get what we're going for here.
Sure.
And I told acknowledge it's not for everyone. There's some people who probably want to take it way more seriously than I want it to be taken or whatever, So like no hard feelings on any of that.
Do you know the scenario before you go into picking your list?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll know your matchup, your player, and your scenario. So you'll know I'm a rebel facing scum on scramble. But you won't know what they picked until you're on the table.
Sure.
That part was very interesting to me because basically I got to, because I'm playing Empire, and if I'm not flying Rack or a weird gauntlet or something, I got to choose my Vader. So if there's no scenario actions, I get to be Boy Vader. But if there is scenario actions, I can try out SSP Vader to like scramble or tow while also getting my target lock.
Yeah, imagine not having fun burning everything to the ground with Rack with Vader crew.
I mean, I played plenty of Rack with Vader crew as well. Ended up being a favorite of mine. But
that's
funny
if I
enough.
could choose to ban one card, Vader crew.
Vader crew now, it's on the chopping block.
Come on, it's fine. It's fine. Look,
it's just a jamming.
If you want to push that button, go for it. You're just gonna take a damage for it now.
Yeah, how's that?
I do the reverse. I don't care about pressing buttons better. I care about stopping you from pressing good buttons.
True. So
yeah,
that was actually very interesting, and it's like in 10 weeks, man. If you ask people to play the same list for 10 weeks, that's gonna be rough. Like
I couldn't do it, so I'm not gonna try and ask other people to do it because there's no way I would do that. But also that's like the number one thing talked about in like team rooms is, hey, I'm facing scum, I'm rebels. What should I bring against this? Or like, what does this person like to fly? Because different people have different relationships. Like, who knows Sean? What does he like to fly? Like, what should I tech against it? And you have a lot of practice games where people will like try to like sim the game out. I really love that part of it because to me that's like you're forming like friendships and bonds with your team there.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think I will reiterate, this is a really good spot for new players to join because I think that's one thing that X-Wing players do for too long is stay individual about the game, and like they have friends and they talk on like game nights at the local store or like on TTS when they get a pickup game. But like it was mentioned a long time ago on probably Carolina Crate Listener Series, where they were talking about how important it is if you're just even trying to get better at the game. Not even like specifically competitively, but just understand the game more, get different perspectives in, and be able to ask questions and have people be receptive to you. Like putting a team around you, right? It is extremely helpful. And like like Andrew Cox, he got second at Worlds last year, right? Him and it was about like 3 to 4 other people all stayed in a tight knit team leading up to that Worlds for a majority of the whole year, just working through games, matchups, talking about stuff, putting lists together, trying things out together. Like having some semblance of a team around you is extremely helpful as to your own growth as an X-Wing player, no matter the quality of player around you, right? Doesn't, as long as you have that team camaraderie, can bounce off ideas, and in a way, like as other people are trying this to other factions, like you can also learn what they're learning too for your own other games outside of it.
Oh, absolutely, because you tune in. We have a lot of games that are streamed. Anyone is welcome to stream Draft League games. There's no like gate on that. A lot of times games are just streamed in Discord, and you'll see like 20 people in a Discord chat channel all muted watching a game happen. There's so much learning opportunity, and like the access to really, really good players is there because I'm lucky enough that really, really good players have signed up for League, and you can end up on their team and you get to pick the brain of an Ollie Pocknell in your team chat for 3 months,
Mm-hmm. And actually getting out of your normal zone of, because most of us are part of a Discord or 2 or 3, most of us are part of local chats, but like getting out of your normal zone of X-Wing player group and getting that experience with other players from around the world can really help with your perspective on like where things are going or how things are working. Like, is you could be part of 3 discords and a local group, but they all might have very similar opinions, which, you know, cool, that's fine, but getting other opinions out there from other players can help round out the view of the whole X-Wing game itself. Not all opinions are right, not all players are the best, or it doesn't matter. Like, you were just sharing an overall experience and giving a better understanding of the whole community.
I think there's also something to be said for not only having a group, like you said, but a group that's invested in you succeeding.
Yes,
True.
That's big.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So we did have a question we didn't talk about come up in our chat. Greg, how much money do I got to pay you to get into the draft league?
Much money.
1,000. I wish.
So many nickels.
Absolutely free. Nickels. I will say prize support is a little bit limited because it is free. I'm not trying to lose money doing stuff, but we did successfully crowdfund a challenge coin for everybody for seasons 3 and season 4, and I'm sure we'll manage to do it for season 5. And captains, again, this is them going above and beyond. I take no credit for this. This is the captains. A lot of them have spent their own money to get like a little thing for their team. You're on Mon Cala, right, James?
Yeah, so, like, I think we're doing like I guess stickers. I think.
Yeah, Nick's super good about that. Like, him's team is getting like painted ships. We had templates for KDB. The Corgis did stuff. Like, a lot of the teams all do stuff. Just to kind of commemorate their time together again. It's a very like I don't know what the word is, camaraderie centric. I'm bad at English.
That's the best.
It's a very communal thing. Yeah.
Communal, yes. Yeah, that's super exciting. Overall, I mean, I don't think anyone's having a bad time. Especially, like I said, because you got that team behind you rooting you on, win or loss, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. No one, I like it is kind of like a full. Oh yeah, the 5 SB templates. They're really fun. I don't know if you'll like this or hate this, Ryan, but 5 straight boost is a team. So they made a template that's a 5 straight with the 2 boosts on either side. So go 5 straight boost and 1 move. Like, the template's the total length of it. So good.
Wow, when you're committed, you know what I mean?
It's so funny.
Yeah. You put down the 5 straight boost before you even put down the 5 straight template.
Yeah. This is what I'm doing. Focus, stress.
Yeah, you gotta.
Right. Awesome. Well, that's exciting. Glad to have you back. Talk more about the season 5 as it comes up. But with the limited time we have left, we're going to hit up, though, the winners of the XCC, a different team event that's been going on at the same time. We've been keeping track
USA.
of it.
USA.
Yeah, that's
USA.
Right. We're going to start right away. Well, hold on, let me get it pulled up here. Group D. Let me switch over to this and zoom in.
D for America.
America, that's right. Team USA. Levi gets the 5th game, our 3rd win, and we end up the top of Group D, 4-1. But
it was shaky.
I mean, we could have lost to Poland at any moment in the series. So
who's the defeat to?
We beat Poland. The winner of our match was going to be the Exon one, who got the top spot in the
Right. Who'd you guys lose to?
Who did we lose? We lost to Spain, and that's
no tapas for anybody.
Spain, though, Spain lost to Poland and to Mexico. Mexico beat Spain 4-1 in the last round and surpassed them in individual wins to take the X2 spot. So Mexico, not Spain
Mexico
or
was
Poland.
like fourth, right?
We counted Mexico out. We thought we thought the U.S. islands had a better chance than Mexico, but they rallied the last.
America prevails.
Yes, they rallied in the last 2 weeks.
Is that true? Wait, we have to check on Canada.
Ooh, well, we'll get to that. So big excite there. Huge congratulations to Mexico coming out of nowhere, beat Spain and Poland as a note. I just want to shout out them because obviously I'm invested in them because they're in my group. But bested Poland and Spain, so they deserve every bit of that that progression into the final stage. The other groups I'm not as familiar with, but let's take a look at them. We'll start here with Group A. Group A, very close, but looks like Germany goes undefeated 4-0, and New Zealand sneaks in at 2-1-1. Beats out the Netherlands, Switzerland, and Philippines. That's awesome.
How did Test Player A do for New Zealand?
Test Player A. So in these teams they have their subs listed as well. So you can have up to 2 subs. If you only have 1 substitute player, you get the best player ever, Test Player A. Let's see then. B was dominated all season by Colombia. They obviously make it in, even though they lost. I think it looks like they lost their last game to go 3-1. Then Ireland beats out tough competition here at 2-2. So, beats out Wales and Hellas. All of them going 2-2. But Ireland gets 13 individual wins to progress into the final cut.
Canterbury, new dad?
That's true. Big congratulations to him for both getting in and for the new job.
But mostly getting in the XTC.
I mean, that's what's important, obviously. All right, then let's see. We got 2 other groups here. Group C goes to England and Australia. Australia rallying after an abysmal season last year. Both of those teams go 3-1, beating out Brazil, Kalmar, and Hungary.
Are any of these names Nobby? Is Nobby not on the team?
No, he's just been streaming their games over at the Fearless Dungark. I can't talk. Gundarks. Anyways, the last one here, we have Group E with Canada and France. Canada rallies after being beaten badly by the Pirates early on in the season. They come back to a 4-1 victory. France as well gets 4.
Three teams at 4-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
The 6-team groups. I think next year, hopefully, a lot more teams will participate. Well, every group will have 16. But I think we were talking about earlier, though, we should have more groups. Or less groups, more teams. But anyways. South Canada and France beat out the Pirates, which I'm sad. I wanted to see the Pirates through. But happy for Canada and France nonetheless. But South Africa, Czech, and Norway end up at 1-4, the opposite there, to finish out Group E. So that's very exciting. Dates are being finalized as we speak. This last of the games are getting played today. So brand new news. We're hoping to cover it. As I don't play, I just had to captain. I'm basically just, I just pay for everything and make sure everything happens. But my team's the one who really does the hard
Team
work.
Sugar Daddy.
Yeah, basically. All right, I've been super proud, obviously, of the players on Team USA. It was rocky there for a bit. The roller coaster of emotion, losing to such high peak and then lose to Spain and then the chance to lose it all. Very exciting stuff. So we'll have to find out more about that final stage. Going to be happening in December. We'll have some more updates on that. And we'll be looking forward, Greg, to see the finals, the games. When can they catch Nickel City X-Wing games being played?
We stream Tuesday and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Nickel City X-Wing on Twitch. This Tuesday we're doing trivia because there's no draft league games. But if you want to play some trivia tomorrow, come on, 6:30 p.m. We have a whole trivia system. It's fun to do. And yeah, Tuesday and Thursdays are the night. And yeah, I'm not good at the like ending parts. You know what I mean?
No.
That's why I want that prompter thing so I can like write it out.
The prompter. That's okay. That was the.
I got an ending for you.
What do we got?
I am signing up right now for season 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
we did it.
There we go.
We did it. Oh, I wanted. I needed Greg to come in here and explain the stats to Ryan, and that'll get him in there.
You got to get yourself some of those stats, Ryan.
Here are the numbers that
you got any more of them stats?
Any more of them stats?
Yeah. All right. Well, for everybody here at Gold Squadron, we'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay smart. Gold Squadron out.
Thank you to ISO, Danko, Baffle, Trojan, Prophet, Shadow, Tycho, Spice, Raider, Lancer, Fallen, Row 6, 626, Chief, and J List, our Grand Admiral patrons. And all of our Gold Squadron patrons and community members, thank you for your support. Gold Squadron out.